Roblox is a huge platform with over 40 million games ranging from good to absolute crap. Today I'll be speedrunning explaining the top 20 most visited games on Roblox, cause why not? Alright, now buckle up your seatbelt and get ready, cause making this video totally destroyed the remaining 6 brain cells in my skull.
In 20th place, we have Toilet Tower Defense, developed by Philanthropic Development, with 4.5 billion visits. This game is literally every single tower defense game, but with extra brain rot. In my opinion, after trying out this game, my eyes were bleeding. I am sorry to tell the 4-year-olds on their iPad, but Toilet Tower Defense is not a fun game and lacks in originality.
Moving on, we have Flee the Facility in 19th place, developed by AW Apps and with 4.5 billion visits. In this game, you try to hack computers around the facility while the beast tries to crush you with a hammer and drag you to the frozen cage. It is a classic, and I think the gameplay was actually alright, and somehow it didn't get really repetitive.
In 18th place, we have Livetopia, developed by Century Makers, with 4.6 billion visits. So, this is basically just a regular roleplay game, so there's not much to say about it. In my opinion, I feel like this game is around the same as other roleplay games such as Brookhaven, and since they don't really have a goal, I don't have anything really to say.
Next up, at 17th place, we have Work at a Pizza Place by Duet1 with 4.8 billion visits. In this game, you work as a pizza place employee in different roles such as chefs, cashiers, and delivery drivers and get paychecks. I think it is a pretty fun game, as if you get bored of one job role, you can easily do another. Unlike most games, the grind in this game is actually quite fun, and it also gives off a bit of nostalgia. In 16th place, we've got Doors, created by Elsplash with 5.1 billion visits. Doors is a horror game where you traverse through a realm of rooms opening doors and avoiding entities to make it to door 100. Now, I absolutely love Doors and how it's a good combination of horror and adventure with different entities to avoid and survive. The gameplay is immersive and enjoyable, and playing Doors with your friends is one of the best things you can do on Roblox. Also, the developers actually cook up something incredible each update, which is definitely worth the long wait, and since the map is randomly generated each round, the game doesn't really get that repetitive. Not to mention, the Doors soundtrack is literally fire. Take a listen to Elevator Jam. That was just the first few seconds of Elevator Jam. I told you, it was fire, right? Next up, Arsenal, developed by Rovi, with 5.5 billion visits. Arsenal is a first-person shooter game with a simple goal of getting the most kills. I've played this game a couple of times and I'll say the gameplay mechanics are alright, and I could see how this could be in the top 20. However, I think it is best played with friends on a private server, because I lack in skill. In 14th place, we've got the Strongest Battlegrounds. Created by Yielding Arts with 6.5 billion visits. This is a sort of a fighting arena type of game, where you just run around mercilessly slaughtering people. I do think the game has a bit of a repetitive gameplay, but playing duels with your friends or creating builds with build mode, or just messing around with the private server settings is incredibly fun. But Also, there are countless kits, and even though it's limited, I still think you can have lots of fun. Alright, next up, Jailbreak, developed by Badimo with 7 billion visits. This game is a crime simulator in which you can either be on the police team, whose goal is to capture the criminals, or the criminal team, which involves robbing banks, hijacking planes, etc. This game is pretty fun, and I like how there are different places you can rob, and even though the game may get repetitive, it's still extremely fun to pass the time.
Next up, we have All-Star Tower Defense, developed by Top Down Games with 7.4 billion visits. This is an anime tower defense game with different modes such as Story, Tower, and Trial. Now, I don't play this game often, but I can see how it's enjoyable with a large amount of units and features. So even though this game seems quite grindy, I can understand why some people like it. And now we have Welcome to Bloxburg, developed by Bloxburg Development, with 8.8 billion views. I want to say this is a roleplay game, but it's more like a life simulator game where you have jobs, purchase stuff, and build your house. I actually never tried this game before, and personally it was better than I thought. I would play it again with my friends sometime, if I had any.
In 10th place, we have Pet Simulator X, developed by Big Games, with 8.8 billion visits. This is a grinding game where you obtain pets and break coins to unlock more areas, to grind more coins, to unlock more areas, to grind other things, to gamble. Now, me personally, I prefer Pet Simulator 99 over X, but however, they have basically the same idea and mechanisms, so they are pretty both grindy, and yet the gambling will be satisfying. Alright, moving on, we've got Bedwars, developed by Easy.gg with 9.3 billion visits. Inspired by the Minecraft Hypixel version of Bedwars, this is a PvP game where you build across islands to collect resources and upgrade your tools to destroy the enemy's beds to prevent them from respawning. I used to grind this game 24/7 and really enjoyed it. One of the reasons why Bedwars is still a popular game is because of the weekly updates. However, I think they may have overcomplicated the game a bit. And as a Bedwars OG, I have absolutely no idea what the altar does. I wish they would add a legacy version to Bedwars.
Next up, we have Royal High, developed by Call Me Bob, with 9.9 billion visits. This is a dress-up role-playing game where you can collect diamonds to purchase clothing and accessories to customize your avatar with. No, don't play this game. You're better than this.
Next up, we've got Piggy, created by Minitoon with 12.9 billion visits. This is a survivor game where the Piggy chases down players whose goal is to collect keys and open doors to escape the map. Oh, Piggy. Oh, well, what a game. Like, how do I even start? Piggy is truly a classic. And in fact, Piggy is really the only reason why I started playing Roblox. I may have a lot of bias towards this game as it literally raised me on Roblox. And not just that, but the lore of Piggy is extremely well crafted. I was devastated when I realized development of Piggy stopped, and I honestly don't know why they did it. Playing Piggy with friends or strangers is still fun, no matter the map. Piggy was an amazing game, and it will always remain in my heart. Next up, we have Meep City, created by Alex Neutron with 16 billion visits. This is just another roleplay game, even though it's mostly used for hangouts. Now, in my opinion, this game is kind of mid, considering the rather questionable things that were exposed a while back. Also, the game is filled with slenders. Let me just prove it to you. Okay, moving on.
And now we have Murder Mystery 2 by Nicholas with 16.1 billion visits. You spawn into a map with a chance of getting one of three roles: survivor, murder, or sheriff. As the murderer, you go around and slaughter people, while the sheriff tries to figure out who the murderer is and shoot them with a gun. Meanwhile, as a survivor, you run around hoping you do not get killed. I mean, it's alright, however, if you're a survivor, it gets pretty boring as you have nothing to do. And now we have Tower of Hell, developed by Yrdsaeb12 Studios, with 23.5 billion visits. This is an obby game where you parkour to the top of a randomly generated tower without checkpoints. I think it's fun, however, I never really got the hype since I suffer from a severe skill issue and cannot parkour.
In third place, we have Adopt Me by Uplift Games with 36.9 billion visits. This is a game where you adopt children but mostly focus on taking care and grinding for pets that comes from eggs. Yes, that includes mammals. I feel like the game wasn't as what it was originally. Now it's too focused on taking care of pets than a roleplay game. In second place, we have Blox Fruits, developed by Gamer Robot, with 37.2 billion visits. The gameplay in a nutshell is just grind, 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 grind. Now, as a person who does not have a life, I quite enjoyed this game. However, it has way too much grinding until the part of the grinding gets to the fun grinding, in which you can grind more. However, once you've grinded all the grind to grind the grind, you can PvP and grind PvP. And finally, in first place, we have Brookhaven, developed by Wolfpack with 51.2 billion visits. This is just another regular roleplay game and hold on. How does this game have that much visits? This doesn't make sense!